Hey guys, just a little quick, not forewarning, but just a little notice before the video. For this episode, I was hoping to play up to Thursday, but it turned out I ended up playing 2 hours worth of Echo. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna play through this 2 hours, but I'm gonna cut it off into multiple episodes, which means some of my future episodes won't have intros like this, and they'll just go straight into the game. So thanks for understanding. Hey guys, Dirk the Red Panda here with Echo. So I decided to do Echo first this week, not because of consistency or trying to get 1 and 1 and all that crap or whatever. Actually, it was because of an episode of The Office I watched. So I watched the episode where, I think it's called Training Day, where basically it's Will Ferrell's character eventually comes in and replaces Steve Carell. And they were talking about the Southwest non-stop and how much they love the Southwest. And every time they did, I'm like, we got Echo right here. That kind of proves us otherwise. Yeah, so that's a little tangent I had about it. So yeah, we left off on the party, I think, or just before, it had the party, title decoration for Wednesday. And it was supposed to be the day of the party. So we're going to have the party sooner or later in this episode, so let's get into it. All I'm saying is that it's real stupid that you all drive all the way back here just to hang out with each other alone. Even Carl and Flynn are sticking together by themselves, huh? You all can do that when you three are not on break. Leo stares ahead, poking his tongue against the inside of his cheek, eyes squinted against the rising sun. His lecture is answered with resounding silence. Even TJ doesn't chime in. He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth. This is primarily due to Flynn's behavior, you know. You should put your pride aside. Really? Oh God. I see TJ slide down some in the backseat. Leo insisted I sit shotgun, so I can't really hide as well. I'm saying that even if you don't like Flynn a whole lot right now, he wins if we can't fucking get over his tantrums. Flynn wins if we continue to put up with his awfulness. He's older than all of us and still acts like a child. He needs to apologize, to become aware that his actions have consequences. Ignoring the problem like it isn't there helps no one. That mindset is why I had to speak to Chase early on. Oh, God. You sure are insistent on that, aren't you? Sounding like you got an agenda or something. I see the wolf glance sidelong towards me, his expression briefly softening. Why would I have an agenda to separate you and Chase? He's 21. He can make the decision on his own. I just didn't want to have to deal with you two prancing around it the whole time. Wouldn't be the first time, girly. TJ is practically on the floor at this point. He's so far down in his seat. Leo glances over at me again. I can tell my lack of response is starting to put him on edge. Honestly, though, I have no idea what to say. You two have decided on your relationship status, right? It's been years and you're still wearing that bracelet. Come on, let's not have this talk while we're all trapped in a vehicle for the next 30 minutes. Don't worry, Otter. I'm not gonna drive us over the guardrail or something. At this point, that might be preferable to continuing this conversation. Another silence follows. I can feel Jenna's expectant stare upon the back of my neck. Finally, Leo speaks. I'm gonna put on some music, yeah? Any preferences? We don't get any stations but the hillbilly cavalcade ones between Echo and Peyton. Well, I got a CD here. My curiosity peaks. I see Leo look towards me, then nod to the glove box with a smirk, tugging at the corner of his muzzle. I think I know exactly what CD he's thinking of. I pull the little clasp on the dashboard. Instead of a CD, a slew of balled up napkins fall into my lap. I don't think much of it until I spy the mostly empty bottle of water-based lube sitting in the glove box. Ugh. Oh, gross. Ugh. Oh my god. It's so disgusting. That reads not over all over you, Leo. Sorry, bud, but can't be doing that in the car. Leo's eyes go on a little wide at the source. Oh, sorry, I read that terribly. Leo's eyes go a little wide at the source. Jeez, I'm still like, traumatized by that. Imagine your ex just like leaving a bunch of like used napkins in there. Ugh. Puta madre. I forgot about that. Jenna cranes her head to see what the fuss is about. She lets out an amused grunt. That's nothing you haven't had on your hands before, Chase. Leo's ears seem downright flushed at this point, pinned to the side of his head. Context is key, as they say, yeah? Don't worry, guys. There's a trash thingy back here. TJ unbuckles and reaches forward, collecting at least 9 balled up tissues in his paws. Oh my god, TJ, no. No, TJ, stop. TJ, you're too good for this. We all look on in horror. Oh no. TJ, put those down. And scene. Sure is empty. It is a Wednesday morning. We're like the only car in the back parking lot, though. Kinda spooky. I ain't afraid of no parking lot. Only thing that scares me anymore is college debt. Same. Transferring in a year will be horrible for me. That's gonna, like, pile up so much now. Alright, anyway. Makes me glad I'm not going to college then. The feels. Aw, don't say that. I catch up and walk alongside the others. It is strange seeing all these parking spaces completely unused. Why not? I mean, what if you want to make a career change? Well, I'll join the army. That way, if I do want to go back to school, it'll be real cheap with the whole GI Bill. It's unsettling that It's unsettling that it is the route that so many have to take to get educated. Isn't like I got a nifty tribal association scholarship. I decide this is a good time to interject. I hope this place is actually open. We approach the doors, Leo looking back at us. Moment of truth. He tugs once. It doesn't budge. Stupid thing. It says push. The wolf nudges the door open with one arm. Oh yeah, I know. I was just... TJ giggles. Huh. I remember this place feeling so much bigger as a kid. Nowadays it feels kind of claustrophobic. Might just be Pueblo spoiling me though. Okay, I think we did this in like Carl's route, I think it was. Carl's or Leo's. It was one of those routes because we went to the mall, but they didn't have this background yet. They just had the comic book stores, which we will get to eventually. But yeah, it's like, we didn't have this stuff. It's pretty cool to see it updated. Looks nice. Alright. Oh geez, not very busy at all. Everything is shuttered. Internet shopping exists now, Tej. Oh yeah, I figured. It's just kinda sad, that's all. The wing steps off towards one of the closed shops. The perforated steel roller shutters, allowing just enough visibility to peek in. This used to be the mask shop. I don't think Carl needs any masks, unless he's got a secret bank robbing life we don't know about. Leo grins like he's just said something extremely funny. You know, he might actually want a lucha wolf mask or something. I remember as a kid, Carl always spouted off random wrestling facts. The fake kind, though, and most of it sounded more like soap opera storylines than an actual sport. I never really got into it. But it still was funny back whenever we were facing some problem, and Carl's trademark motivational catchphrase was to suplex it. Oh, cheesy. Is it sad that I don't even know what suplex means because I just wasn't about the whole WWE stuff? I know people who are. Internet modem not working? Suplex it. Fishing pole all tangled in line? Suplex it. Having to deal with a bully? Suplex it. Got a crazy boyfriend? Suplex it. Live in a crazy town? Suplex it. Alright, it was the only thing Sydney and him both got along over. Oh boy. Something we definitely get into TJ's route with. That and Flynn's too, a little bit. Alright, anyway. They don't really make those sort of things for Ram Face's otter. I don't think he'll actually wear it. It's more like a collectible sort of thing. He has enough of that sort of stuff already. His room is already a cluttered mess. We'd just be adding to the pile. Carl sent me a picture of it over Christmas and it looks exactly the same as it did when we were in high school. It reminds him of better times, I suppose. Yes, but the issue is that he doesn't actually leave his room to make some new, better times for himself. He just dwells on nostalgia for video games I haven't touched since I was 12. Yard sailing a lot of the junk might do him some good. Leo chuckles, rubbing his forehead. Happy birthday, Carl. Instead of giving you a gift this year, we're selling your shit. I see Jenna smile, letting out a little amused huff before moving on. I realize that TJ is still standing in front of the closed mask shop. Hey, you coming? I see him bristle, startled from thought and pull back into reality. Oh yeah, sorry. I just knew a girl who worked here. I hope she's okay. I nod, not really sure what to say in response to that as the feeling catches up to us. We pass even more shuttered shops. Most of the... pagodas? Yeah, I was right. Most of the pagodas are still open, but they're manned mainly by foreign dudes who are transfixed on their cell phones. I don't blame them either. In a place like this, the shift hours must drag on. I was fortunate enough to have a part-time job as a patent newspaper printer in high school, and it kept me pretty busy. Plus, I got to tell other people that I worked for the city paper. Oh no, the music store is gone. That's probably the least surprising closure yet. I really like the physical stuff. My mom and dad sent me this vinyl record player for my birthday. My other dorm mates and I listened to it in the common room all the time. Teach, are you a hipster now? True. I see TJ blink, turning to look at Leo a little wide-eyed. What? No. I don't know, gatito. Cherry Bloom is pretty underground. They're one of the top-selling alternative music artists of the 2000s. Alternative is just another word for indie. I bet TJ has an aesthetic blog. I feel like that's my vibe. Aesthetic. What? I don't even know what that is, but yes, it sounds like something TJ would have. Jenna covers her muzzle with her paw, stifling her snicker. Usually she's the one to put a stop to any TJ ribbing going on, but I suppose this is lighthearted enough where she doesn't mind. It's okay, TJ. I enjoy having physical copies of things as well, especially now that I'm living alone in Pueblo. I don't have to worry about anyone going into my room and pawning my stuff. She says this so nonchalantly, but I remember how horrible and common that problem was for her. Leo and Flynn helped her install a lock on her door, but then her parents just took the door itself away a week later. I'm not looking forward to having Take 3. I'm not looking forward to having to pack it all up for the move to Weston, though. And the thing about the door that I forgot to say, sorry for breaking this up so much, but the whole thing about ripping the door off, throwback to Route 65, like, yeah, I think it was like we had come to her house to tell her that we were coming out, and then she was like, yeah, my door's gone. It was like, okay, well, that's awkward. Had no context for it though, but, I mean, we have a little bit here. Moving on. I'll stop by and help you pack when the time comes. I say that with a bit more finality than intended, and it makes me feel a bit sad. It feels like Jenna and I barely ever hung out while we had the chance, and now we might never again. That would be nice of you, Chase. Thank you. I force a smile and nod. She perks a brow in my direction. As TJ and Leo have a back and forth about how many times the Lynx has worn flannel, Jenna hangs back a bit to walk alongside me. Ironic that TJ doesn't have any flannel clothes as his sprite, but yeah, interesting. She reaches over, gingerly grasping onto my wrist. I feel her thumb rub across my forearm, and it feels like electricity. I think that's the right word for it. It feels like electricity, the fur standing up around my collar. At first, I think she's just trying to get my attention, which she certainly now has, but her touch is more reassuring than firm. I watch Leo gesticulate wildly with his back turned in front of me. Jeez, I'm having a strong here again. I watch Leo gesticulate. Here we go. I watch Leo gesticulate wildly with his back turned in front of me, and I can feel my heart thud in my chest. I expect Jenna to say something, but she's completely silent. God, I'm the guy here. I'm the one supposed to be taking charge with this sort of thing, right? But here I am, pink-eared like a blushing bride. Like a blushing bride having my wrist. I was about to say holding my wrist. Jeez. Sorry guys for all the mistakes. But here I am, pink-eared like a blushing bride, having my wrist held like by a girl. My nostrils flare some and I pull away, Jenna giving me an indiscernible look. I reach over and fully take her paw in mine, squeezing some. A wry expression crosses her face and I feel her hip bump into my thigh. She's so short, but she certainly doesn't act like it in any way. The stereotype about meek phoenix is completely untrue. Oh, damn it. She wriggles free from my grasp with surprising deftness, pointing ahead. Sure enough, Birchfire Comics is completely gone. The interior dark and empty behind the chain-link roller grill. She sighs, crossing her arms over her chest. Her turquoise eyes shift sideward. Shit, this sucks. I'm sorry, Jenna. She straightens suddenly, then walks ahead of me. I'm gonna go with TJ and find him a bathroom to wash his paws. I see her walk up besides the two in front of us. She nudges TJ, saying something to him and Leo before they move off in the direction of the food court. I can't believe TJ is about 20 years old at this point and still getting babied by her. Leo is left standing there, his paws in his pockets and his face devoid of expression. He looks back at me, putting on a tepid smile. "Want to go check out the SUPLEX?" I shrug non-committedly. "You guys said it yourself. There's no rush." I'm hit with realization and I furrow my brow up at him. "You heard that?" He just maintains his smile and beckons me along before turning. "So?" Despite being open, the Plex certainly doesn't look like it should be. The carpet is musty, everything smells like mildew, the game machines are decades old, and the roller rink is scratched up to all hell. Leo stops next to a claw prize machine and fishes around in his pocket for quarters. What is an aesthetic blog? It's like an ongoing online page that you update with stuff that sort of corresponds to a mood or feeling. He slides 2 quarters into the machine, then grabs the control stick. A few lights upon the machine light up, moving in a pattern around the glass window. About half of them are burnt out. "Oh, I have one of those." "You do?" "Yeah, but it's mainly porn though, He makes a lewd jerking motion with the control stick and I'm put at slight unease noting that this machine is meant for children. Ugh. Oh my god, aesthetic. Leo. That's not the aesthetic we want here on YouTube. No, not here. Well, better than storing it all in your sample music folder, I suppose. You mean the homework folder, right? It's my homework folder, I swear. I actually get caught with that, you know. Damn it, I told you. Yeah, Otter, I know. My little nephew Eduardo wanted to play games on my computer and he started clicking around on the recent files thing. Oh, oh my god. The one problem with computers still, the recent files thing. There should be a setting that should hide that. I don't know if there is, but there should be. Oh my god, Leo, he's like 10! He furrows his brow, moving the crane some absently. He's 13. His dad is your really religious brother too, right? Yeah. Oh god. Jesus. Oh, I'm just getting so comfortable with that. Hey, ain't nearly as bad as getting caught cock and paw by the Padres while watching Fox Horse gay porn. Oh my god, I shouldn't think that. I just thought about the tennis ace. Should I say what I was thinking? Skip up like 10 or 15 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But maybe think about Victor with his horse. Oh my god, I should have said that. But if the horse was Anthro. Not bestiality type, I'm sorry. Like, that was disgusting. We got a whole debacle on that somewhere else with some other people. We don't want to get into that. I cringe, covering my face. Hey, look. I pull my paws away from my face and see Leo point to something in the machine. I squint, and in the midst of puzzle cubes and spinner toys, a boxed Lucha Wolf figure rests. Leo shifts his gaze towards me and grins. I see him navigate the crane perpendicular with the box's point of rest. He hits the lowering button. The metal claw descends into the pit of cheap toys, clenching down upon the cardboard edge of the box. It tugs at it slightly, but it loses grasp and returns to its point of rest. Shit. Let me have a go. I reach into my back pocket for my wallet, but Leo is already putting 2 more coins in. He gestures to the machine and tips an invisible hat in my direction. Please don't be a fedora. I find myself rolling my eyes a little as I take position. Thanks. I decide this time I'm going to try to grab it from one of the corners. It might not be enough to pick it up completely, but it will pull it from the rest of the toy pile for future tries. Speaking of, I try to line up the crane just right, eyeing through the dusty glass from multiple angles to get a good idea of positioning. Sorry guys, just sneezed. Now that I don't have to go. Jeez. That sneeze threw me off. Wow. Now that I don't have you so anchored down, so however you want to see it as. I pause, my paw over the lower button. You let any other guys fuck you up, Pueblo? Any big stallion types like the ones in your porn? The tone in his voice, it is definitely one that I haven't heard in years. It seems to carry an extra intense edge. Christ, Leo, no! You haven't had sex in 3 years? You must be really pent up, eh? He laughs breathily. I exhale, trying to keep my nerve. I go ahead and press the button, the crane lowering the claw down once again. You don't have to lie to me, yeah? I just want the truth. The claw pushes the box down further. It's seeming to have different levels of how low it starts grasping. However, it doesn't even grip this time. The crane just keeps lowering the claw. We can't even see the figurine anymore. Not that Leo's paying any attention. If you like girls now, you can tell me. I feel him now, his thighs against my behind, the familiar firmness upon the small of my back. I stare at the machine. The claw still hasn't come up yet. Leo? His paw takes my hip. Can you fuck off? What? Oh boy. TJ, no! Cover your ears! Wow. Leo's paws are off me now. The wolf turns to face the others. How long have you two been here? Long enough. I was just trying to... I thought you were better than this sort of behavior, Leo. This was a private conversation. That Chase clearly didn't want to be a part of. Well, I didn't know that until just now. He looks back at me. His eyes are wide and his shoulders are raised up high, the wolf visibly tense. I'm still reeling from what just happened, from Leo's behavior, from my own words. I say nothing. He sucks in his jowls, trying to put on a smile. We found a present for Carl in this crane machine here. A lucha guy, yeah? TJ leans to peer inside the machine. I don't see it. The claw and the crane are back at their starting positions. Yeah, well, Chula here behind me must have buried it somehow. Buried it? You know what I mean, Teach. He shrugs, visibly not knowing what Leo means. Jenna gives Leo a look I don't quite catch before stepping up to the machine. She squints, looking over the pile of toys. No, I see it. That green and purple cardboard thing in the middle beneath the Mothman plushie. She reaches into her purse, sifting through it for a moment before finding 2 quarters. We all just sort of stand there, staring at her here as the lights flash around the window, illuminating her features with golden glow. She fiddles with it a lot longer than I did, 30 seconds passing before she actually hits the lower button. The claw descends, pushing through the muck of plush and plastic. The sound of metal scraping the box is audible, even if it is difficult to see what is happening. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see that Leo's facade of a smile is completely dissipated. He looks at me, though his gaze is unfocused. It's like he's trying to numb himself, but it isn't working. The claw finally lifts, the metal prongs clutching the central mass of the figurine and carrying it to the drop slot. With a satisfying clunk, the box falls in and the crane returns to its default position. Leo's form stiffens. He stares at the machine, Jenna, and then me again. He crosses his arms, and I see his face start to shake, his eyes clenched shut. I'll be in the fucking van. As he leaves, Leo smacks a nearby pinball machine so hard the glass cracks. TJ stands there with his paws behind his head, maw agape. And so the real Leo reveals himself. Oh my goodness. TJ walks over to the pinball machine, bending down to gather up what splintered glass there is in front of his shirt. I watched Leo trudge off around the corner, though I can still hear his heavy footfalls for a while after. I wait a bit just to make sure he's really gone. Jenna, meanwhile, steps up, handing me the boxed figurine. So, is there a crappy boardwalk game that you can't beat? Despite what just happened, I see a flicker of a smile tug at the corner of her lips. I just saw the point where the cardboard meets the plastic display. A plastic display front would be where the prongs would ascertain the best leverage. Oh wait, I just saw the point where the cardboard meets the plastic display front would be. Oh my god, that's the part where it ends. Sorry guys for messing that up again. I just saw the point where the cardboard meets the plastic display front would be where the prongs would ascertain the best leverage. You did most of the work for me by putting it into position. Good job. She moves past me, patting my back some before kneeling down beside TJ and helping him clean up. I turn to face her again. You should be the one to give it to Carl. After all, you're the one who won it for him. No, then I'd be a hypocrite after what I said earlier about his clutter problem. He'll like this from you, though. Yeah, I guess. We should probably hurry before someone besides us decides to visit this mall. I peer around, checking to make sure that we're the only people in here still. I see a coffee sitting on the service desk, so whatever is managing this place today might be back soon. And before Leo decides to drive off without us. That would be the ultimate dick move. He wouldn't do that. TJ gathers the glass from his shirt and places it in a small pile on the bench nearby. Jenna does the same. Yes, well, I'd rather not tempt the odds or the potential 30-mile outside city limits cab fare. Should we leave some money for the pinball machine repair? No, TJ, it's alright. None of us should have to deal with Leo's mess before more than we already have. Oof. That's awkward. I rest my head against the passenger window as I balance the cheap fast food place red velvet cake in my lap. This is one of the most awkward car rides I've ever been in. Everyone is completely silent, TJ's previous attempts to lighten the mood having been received with idle grunts and nods. My stomach hurts and I have this nauseous feeling that keeps bubbling up when I think about what happened. Leo and I have squabbled in the past, sure, but never like this. Most of the time, we fought about video games shit, politics, and sports. The worst it ever got was when the topic of leaving Echo came up. I danced around answering it for as long as I could, and the truth came out in the worst way possible. But now is different. I never felt such contempt for him before like I did when he pressed against me, interrogating me like I belonged to him. He probably thought I'd just bend over against the crane machine for old time's sake. Watching him from the corner of my eye now, I see him trying to keep his ears up, but they keep pinning back down. I'm stuck in this shitty feeling of being pissed at Leo and ashamed of myself. He shouldn't have acted that way, but I know I just hurt him in a manner that I haven't done in a long time. Being stuck in a car with someone who is thinking about you and you're thinking about them, and you're both hurting, is hell. I really wish I brought back my headphones. I stare out the window as we roll down the first dirt road to Echo. Every street, every corner, every trail, and every tree has a memory attached to it. There, in the middle of the dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market, is a tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumbled and boarded up now, the paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there, in front of Duke's house, is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me she was going to run away from home. I could still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. And the old train yard where I kissed Leo for the first time after staying up all night at our first real party. Route 65. I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror occasionally. He hasn't so much as looked at me since the family plex, though I see him staring at Jenna now. She catches his gaze somehow, returning it with an even more curt look. Carl probably still isn't even awake yet. Do you have a plan if he doesn't answer the door? We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer his cell phone? Will you shatter the window too? Leo's muzzle pulls into a snarl. I hear her mutter something I can't even quite discern. He shifts focus back on the road, his knuckles tight on the steering wheel. TJ gives another go at trying to fill the silence. Well, I didn't think this would go too badly. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that. I agree, TJ. Though I do think this is perhaps a bit poorly planned. It should be an alright time. I haven't been to Carl's in so long. The car starts slowing down and I snap out of my daydreaming to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Carl's house yet. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further up on the side of the road. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. I think that's Janice. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned. His brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll down your window, Chase. I do as he says, struggling a little with the old crank handle. What is she doing out here? We come to a stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I don't know. Hey! TJ rolls down his window as well, waving. Hi, Janice. Leo leans over me and looks out at her. She's still looking at the ground. Everything's all... Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him confused, then look back out the window and I can't help myself but I gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle and all the dust kicked up by the van, but now I see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking out the windshield instead. Is she... Oh my god, Leo, keep going! Jenna whispers it, her voice strained. Oh, sorry, Leo stops talking, and I chance a glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now, and she's smiling. It's a weird smile, because it isn't touching her eyes. Or the something is, it isn't touching her eyes. Weird. It's unnerving. Leo stares back. Leo, let's just go. I hiss out the side of my mouth, staring out the windshield again. He seems reluctant to, though, looking concerned. Janice, do you need some help? His tone is one you might use on a toddler or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything, except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a ride. Leo stops talking in time for me to hear a pattering sound, a sound I recognized well from being a kid pissing on the dirt roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration back onto the empty road. What in God's name? I don't know. Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him. Should I go back? No! I look back and see TJ covering his face. Maybe she could be having some kind of psychotic episode. Maybe she just really had to go. I'm like that after a ton of caffeine sometimes. TJ, I'm fairly certain you haven't peed yourself in front of anyone since Miss Mueller's Thanksgiving play. And you certainly weren't smiling at the audience while you were at it. Childhood memories. Please don't talk about that now. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me? She was probably just on something. Isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that. Well, maybe she does. You never know with people. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anyone else. We don't go back.